Hey friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead, and it's Howie's 56th birthday. So for supper, it's steak and cake. It's Howie's birthday. He wants that delicious chocolate cake that Angie made when she was here in the summer. Let's make him one. Okay, so what we have here is 2 cups of organic sugar, 2 eggs, 1 3/4 cups of flour, a teaspoon and a half of baking powder, a teaspoon and a half of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, a half a cup of cocoa, 1 cup of milk, half a cup of oil, and we will be adding a half a cup of boiling water. Apparently this is really easy to make. And we have a parchment lined 9 by 13 pan. Let's get busy. Now, first things first, all the dry ingredients go in. The sugar, the flour, the baking powder, the baking soda, the salt, and the cocoa. And we're going to very carefully just put that on stir. We're going to add in our milk. Oh, and there's 2 teaspoons of vanilla in that milk. Our eggs. And I'm going to go get my 1 cup of boiling water. And in goes 1 cup of boiling water. It was cloudy because I used the milk cup. Now this is going to be runny, it says. Right into a 9 by 13 pan, this goes. Now this is going into a 350-degree oven for 35 to 40 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean. Okay, timer has come off and a skewer came out clean. Just make sure this end is off here because the parchment didn't come all the way. We're just going to do this and like this, fingers crossed. No, don't stick to the parchment. Oh my gosh. I've made a mess of it. But guess what? Don't change the flavor none. So we'll let that cool and then we'll make some chocolate buttercream frosting. Okay, so here we have 6 tablespoons of butter and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. 3 cups of icing, we may need more. Half a cup of cocoa. And then we're going to add milk as we go. Now we're going to start this on stir, obviously. And we're going to let that butter get into that sugar and that cocoa and that vanilla. And we're going to add some milk, approximately 1 cup of milk. Scrape down the sides here. Oops, it's going to be fabulous. We're not frosting people. I use much less sugar and no frosting on cakes on a regular basis, but Howie requested this for his birthday cake. So what do you do? And there it is. Our chocolate buttercream frosting for our decadent chocolate cake. Okay, the cake has cooled down enough for us to put the frosting on. Well, it's not going to be the most beautiful cake. I'm starting to think I should have left it in the pan like Angie did and just frosted the top. It is a bloody big cake, so I have a feeling I'm going to be freezing several portions of this for later desserts. Close enough. Now while my oven is preheating, I have decided to see if I can make this into a layer cake. because it can't get any more ugly than it already is. How am I going to do this? Wait, get out of the way. Oh no, I think I just made matters worse, guys. Oh, look at that! Let me just scrape this off. Slip it under there. This is the corner where the cake was broken the worst. Well, it's still ugly, but it's still delicious. Now it's just a layer cake. Now, before we sear our roasts and put them in the oven, the potatoes have to go in first because they're going to take a little bit longer. So what I've got here is a 10 by 10, maybe 9 by 9 casserole dish with some oil in the bottom, a little bit of sunflower oil. And I'm just going to put a jar of potatoes in here. Now I saved the water from the potatoes for my next baking of bread. I just drained it off into a jar. I'm not mashing them, I'm just kind of smashing them. And now we're going to sprinkle on, of course, garlic, little more garlic, pepper. Now I am not going to add salt because the salt, there was salt in the canning of the potatoes, right? And then we're just going to sprinkle Parmesan all over top. Just like that. Now, Howie took out 2 packages of T-bones, but one had 2 in it and one had 1. So they have been sitting all day in the fridge with some olive oil and steak spices marinating. Now, I've decided to take this up a notch. And I'm just going to put a layer of broccoli in and on there. And I'm just going to drop little dots of butter. Is what takes the flavor up several notches. The butter's quite cold. More garlic. You do you, guys. Just 1 finger pinch of salt. 1 more hand of Parmesan. Yeah, that's going to be amazing. And this is going into a 350-degree oven while we sear our steaks. Okay, my oven's almost at 375 degrees, so I'm just going to drop this in there. Now, I'm going to put the biggest one in first. And this one. And then this one. Loosen it up. Flip the whole thing right over. Sear the other side. Shut it off, and into the oven that goes for about potatoes and broccolis in the oven 15 minutes, and then this goes in for another 15 minutes. Beautiful. Now let me just get our Dutch oven out of here. And let's, yes, I hear ya. Let's have a look at our steak. Whoops, sorry about the steam. Beautiful, Clark. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. All right. So I oven roasted, that's T-bone steak. It's a little more tender when we oven roast it. Mm-hmm. Our teeth are getting, having a hard time. And the potatoes are smashed potatoes and broccoli with garlic and Parmesan.
Very nice.
Well, I couldn't do lasagna. You just had it last week. Thank you, dear. Did you see your fugly cake?
I did.
You got a little bite of something for Gracie there? Because, you know, it's not your birthday unless it's her birthday, too.
With tater?
Mmm. Nums. Now, folks, not only did Howie bring home ice cream to have with his chocolate cake, he ate it so fast, I didn't even get it on camera.
It's very good.
It was fugly.
I'll enjoy a piece in my lunch tomorrow.
It was ugly cake.
It was ugly, but very tasty.
There you go.
This is the Mrs. Fugly from our half-acre homestead saying, and that was Grampus's birthday. 56 years old. Steak and fugly cake. Works for me. Take care. God bless.